Hey, are you going to leave a deposit? Are you the one buying the house? These are some objections that you're going to receive from sellers in wholesale real estate. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some of these objections from sellers and how to answer them as a beginner in wholesale real estate. Welcome back to the channel. Please be sure to subscribe. A lot of you all watch my videos but are not subscribed. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Now, some seller objections and how to answer them. So one is, I'm going to start with the EMD. EMD is a seller objection that a lot of beginners get, and honestly, I think it's not as often as you think. I think a lot of people who have questions about it have never really experienced it. They just want to know ahead of time. But in my time of doing wholesaling, I have never left an earnest money deposit. I'm not saying you never have to do it, but I think a lot of times when you're going to a seller, they know they're not listing the property on the market, and you're talking about how you're an investor and you work with other investors to flip properties or hold them as a rental. Their mindset is different than, hey, we're listed, we need a deposit, right? That's first of all. It may not come up as often as you think. Now, if it does come up, how do you answer it? One thing that I do is that I answer it by saying, hey, this is an investment property. This is a cash close and we're closing in less than 30 days. And so because of the short timeline, or even less than 30 days, 2 weeks, because of the short timeline, we don't leave a deposit usually. If it is something that you require or need, then we can leave a small down payment, a small deposit. And the deposit amount can be as low as $100, right? Sometimes a seller just wants to see that you're committed to a deal. And so even if they ask you for some sort of deposit, you can give them an amount that you're comfortable with, that you can give, right? Whether it's $100, $500, or $1,000. Usually, they're looking for at least $500 or $1,000 in order to, be satisfied with the deposit that you're giving them. That's some things I would say and some things I would do. Another thing that you can do is that when you're with the seller, you can say, okay, the deposit is going to be given maybe a week or two later, and it's going to be given directly to the title company. You have to make sure that they know they don't receive the money directly. It goes to the closing attorney or the title company, depending on which state you live in and how they operate real estate transactions. So I'll make sure I'll do that before any other thing. The other thing is that your cash buyer, usually if you're working with a cash buyer, I like to require them to leave a deposit so they can lock in the deal, so I don't sell the deal to another cash buyer, and just letting them know, hey, if you really want this deal, leave a deposit. And so that deposit can count as your deposit towards the seller, essentially. That's how I would answer that objection. It doesn't happen as often as you think, but if it does happen and they do require it, just put a small amount that you're comfortable with, and it goes directly to the title company. The next objection that I want to talk about is, the objection of, hey, are you the one buying my house? Or something around, okay, what exactly are you doing, right? Because a lot of times wholesaler, they call themselves the cash buyer. They say they're buying the house. And yeah, you can do that, but you just got to make sure that you disclose, especially in some certain states and cities, as we've been learning, more and more regulation is in this industry. And so what to do and how to navigate this whole system. So one thing that you have to do is disclose that, hey, I am not the one buying your house. I am assigning this to an investor friend that I know because it doesn't fit into my buy box or whatever. You could say something like that. Hey, this doesn't exactly fit in my buy box, but I still want to make sure you can sell this home. So I'm going to invite some of my investor friends to look at this house, and they're going to take upon this contract, end up buying this house. So I just need a day for all of them to come in, contractors, investors, take a look at the property and see if it's a deal for them. And then from there, that's when you're able to close the deal, essentially. So that's how I would answer that question about, are you the buyer? Essentially, I would tell them no. I don't think there's no point of lying. I know some people do that, but if they don't ask, you don't have to tell, unless you're in one of these cities or states that require full disclosure. But I would say, if they ask that question, you can say, well, I work with other investors and they're the one bringing in the capital for this project. So they'll be the one, bringing in the money to buy this project. I just work with them to see if it's a deal, to, help them find properties to flip or hold as a rental. So that's how I would answer that objection. Now, I think other objections that a seller may have is just what to do about the things in the property, closing and things of that nature, or, hey, I need to stay here a little bit longer after closing so I can buy a house or rent out a place and things of that nature. You can let all of that happen. So for example, if they say, okay, can I leave things in the house? Of course, yeah, that's easy. Or can I stay here here a little bit longer. You just have to have an agreement saying, hey, once it goes over this amount of days, I'll start charging them rent for this property. And then from there, that's when you can, start charging them rent. So that's some minor objections that you can easily answer as a beginner in wholesale real estate. Another seller objection is, let's say you're on the phone. I think I had these questions from a lot of beginner wholesalers, and even from myself, is they would ask you how old you are. And when a seller asks you how old you are, I think what they're trying to gauge is your experience level, how much of an expert you are on this deal. And you can answer directly if you want, but one thing that you can do is you can shift it back to them, right? You can say something. So if someone asks me, okay, like, how old are you? You could say, yeah, I know I sound young, but I have been working in this business for a little bit now. And, my other investors that I work with, they bring a lot of experience to this. And even though I sound young, I'll make sure that we get this deal done and that you have nothing to worry about, essentially something like that, to that nature. And then just redirect the question to something else, or just ask them, does my age have anything to do? If you want to really confront and really practice your rapport skills, your communication skills, you can ask them, does me being younger affect this in any type of way? You selling your property, us working together, and just see what they say. That's another way that you can answer that seller objection or that seller way. Now, some other seller objection is, let's say you are on the phone with somebody and they say, hey, we can't, and they are interested and you want to set an appointment to see the property, or you have other people interested in seeing the property, and they say, and they just keep on like canceling the time or not giving you a date and time to set a date to see the property. You can let them know, hey, next call, you have to give me a date. You have to give me a time so we can see this property. Or you can let them know, hey, this is the date and time I'm available. I can be there. You have to just kind of be firm with them and let them know, hey, this is the date and time. Because, this is something that they'll just keep pushing off until essentially they'll be able to, not work with you again or find another offer. So make sure you set that tone to set a date and time with them directly. Now, another obvious seller objection, if they're not interested in selling, or it's a good deal, but they don't want to sign for whatever reason, you still be patient. You don't want to stronghold them or force them to sign a contract. Obviously, that's illegal. But also, if they're not interested in selling to you, just ask more questions. Just say, okay, when would you be interested? Can we at least see the property, meet in person? Try to still find a way to bring them closer to that deal. Have them give you a date and time when they'll be more interested in selling. Try to pull more of the reason why they're trying to sell and bring that up, like either, the repairs needed on the property or they're needing to move. Try to bring that up more, and just try to go and see the property in person. I think that's key. Try to find a way to see that property in person, because I think when you're there, it can be a little bit more convincing. Yeah, there's more sales tactics of, well, we are buying in this area and, we have a certain budget. And so hopefully you can fit that within our budget within the next couple of days. Just let us know. So you kind of create urgency with that. All right, you all, hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll talk to you all later.